Good morning to all my friends and family, and welcome to Jim's 5 a.m. club. It's about 6:15. I'm down here at Bondi. I've parked the car and I'm just heading to Iceberg's pool for my regular Sunday morning swim. I intend to do 40 laps, 2 kilometres. And it's an overcast morning. We're not going to see much of a sunrise today, but it'll be nice down by the beach to hear the crashing of the waves. It's balmy, it's a gentle breeze. Actually, it's a pretty strong breeze today, so we may get some buffeting when we get closer to the water. So I apologise in advance if that is the case. But today we're going to do a walk and talk. The book summary that we'll cover today is an interesting one, and I learned quite a bit from this, and it helped me understand a few more things about sport. And let me just cross the road and make sure I don't get run over. Yep, some bikes coming down. Flying down, actually. Lucky I didn't get collected there. Anyway, there are a number of risks when you're vlogging and doing a walk and talk. But the book summary that I'm going to cover today is entitled The Sports Gene. The Sports Gene, and as I said, I learnt a number of things from this, and it's a real eye-opener, because all children want to grow up to be Olympians and athletes and this, that and the other. But what the author suggests here is that there are some people who are better suited to it than others. Anyway, I've arrived at Knott's Lane, and just let me show you from up here how beautiful it is. They've done some work here, some roadworks, and it's really world class, this road now, this location, and it's absolutely beautiful. I can look down there on Bondi Beach early in the morning. Hardly anybody on the beach. But as I mentioned before, it's balmy, it's beautiful. It's overcast and it may start raining, but I've come for a swim, so it doesn't matter. I haven't come down here to sunbake or anything like that. So the book is entitled The Sports Gene by David Epstein. And it looks at how genes affect our ability and make us more suited for certain things. And according to the author, some people are better suited at certain things, and it's because of the genetic makeup. And it's fair to say that not all success is based on hard work. A lot of us would like to think that if you work hard, then you can achieve a lot of things in life. But some of us, or some people, have genetic inclinations, are better suited. And the first point that the author talks about in this book is body type. And elite swimmers have a characteristic which is very unique. Michael Phelps, for example, had a very unique body type. He had a long torso, or he has a long torso, long arms with short legs. So to be a great swimmer, to be a great athlete in the water, short legs are one of those physical things, those genetics, those genetic inclinations and gifts that make people better at competing in the pool. And it's something that I wasn't aware about. But when you see Michael Phelps standing up by the blocks, you do notice that he has a tremendously long torso and long arms, but I never noticed the length of his legs. But I'll keep a lookout now and see if I can make that observation myself. And short legs are also important for sprinters, people who are great at sprinting, apparently. So athletes who are great sprinters tend to have shorter legs, which have muscles which are fast twitch fibre muscles. Let me just give you the beach in the background. So there you go. So I guess the other thing that I've learnt over the years is, I remember saying on another 5 a.m. club that once I went down to watch a ticker tape parade when the Olympians were coming back from the Olympics. I forget which Olympics it was, but we had a ticker tape parade in Sydney. And I stood by the side of the road and watched all the athletes coming one after the other. And then I saw these guys coming down, and I thought they were basketballers. They were so bloody tall, you know. I thought they were basketballers, but it was actually the soccer team. And I just got amazed at how tall they were. But because in the past, you know, we've had some greats who've been short. But it seems that these days, to be able to succeed in soccer, one of the things that you need to do is to have some height. So that's something to consider and to think about. The other thing that the author talks about in this book is endurance and motivation. Also seem to be things which are genetically generated. So how does endurance and motivation get linked to genetics? Now it's quite it's quite interesting, but once again another eye-popping fact coming out of this book, because the author seems to suggest here that some people's brains aren't as good at sensing pleasure as other people's brains. So why is that important? Why is the way we sense pleasure important in our sports, in our genetic determination? And the reason why it's important is that some people have different pain thresholds, and depending on your pain threshold will determine how much exercise you're willing to endure, how much pain you're willing to endure, and how much suffering you're willing to endure. So having a high tolerance for discomfort, is an invitation to work harder and to be able to endure the high levels of pain that you need to do on a regular basis in order to become an elite athlete. You need to go through a lot of pain, a lot of suffering in order to become a leader in your field. So what the author is suggesting in this book is that to have that high pain threshold, it's largely genetic. You need to have the genetics in terms of your brain development and your brain capability to be able to block out the pain, to block out the suffering. Other things that are important to consider and to understand is that some people, based on their genetic makeup, have a heightened capability or a better ability to be able to get over injury and to recover quickly. And once again, this is based on genetics, according to the author. because we all have a risk of getting injured when we're training and when we're overtraining. But some people genetically have stronger bones, have stronger tissues, and have bodies that are quicker to recover. So this is a gift, and we've got to recognise that these are gifts that people have. The other thing that the author talks about, which is interesting once again, is that based on the way your brain is, there are some people who get a bigger dose of endorphins from their exercise. There are some people who, when they go on a run, get a bigger shot of endorphins and hence get a greater pleasure out of running and exercising. So once again, it's genetic, according to the author, that some people, I guess another way of looking at it as well is some people, probably based on their brain structures, get heightened pleasures out of other things. Some people find things funnier than other people because genetically they're able to enjoy things better based on the way their brain's structured or the way the brain has developed. And the third point that the author brings out of this book, and he talks about Africa and long distance runners, their ability to produce great runners. And what the author is saying is that because Kenya and Ethiopia are closer to the equator, it means that the people have adapted smaller body types which are naturally better for running. And those smaller body types from those countries enable the heat to be distributed and to be dissipated more efficiently and more effectively, which gives them a physical and a genetic advantage over other athletes from other countries. So the smaller bodies are naturally better for people who are runners. Also, the other advantage that they have is that they've got they live in high altitude in these countries, and the high altitude enables them to develop stronger and bigger lungs, and also to have a higher red blood count, a higher red blood cell count, which enables them to process the oxygen and keep the oxygen for longer. So, and another thing which blew my mind, got a nice big wave coming through now. Another thing that blew my mind also was that the author suggested, and I don't know how accurate and how scientific this is, but because of the high incidence of malaria in these countries, the author suggested that only the healthiest survive, and by being able to have the healthiest and strongest survive, it has led to better athletes and better people who are much better at doing high performance activities. And I guess in years to come, we may be able to look back and see that Corona-19 or COVID-19 has been able to make humanity stronger, because the ones who are able to survive it, to thrive and to build from this pandemic, the so-called pandemic, I don't know if it actually is a pandemic, but it has been a significant threat, may help people become more stronger, or at least look after themselves from a health perspective. So the bottom line from this book is that people have genetic advantages and also genetic disadvantages. So it's important to, I guess, to be able to distinguish and to understand that we're not all created equally, and we all have a genetic makeup, and that genetic makeup can influence and help us in certain aspects and certain things in our lives. So I guess the important thing is to probably just do an assessment. We all need to do an assessment in terms of our body types, in terms of what we're good at, what our strengths and weaknesses are, and to understand that a lot of those things are based on gifts. Gifts that we have received, gifts that we have had passed to us from our parents, from our forefathers, our ancestors, and it's up to each and every one of us to make the most of each of those gifts. Anyway, I think I'll finish up now, and as I said, let's just do a 360. It's a grey old day here in Bondi, but it's not going to stop me. I'm going to go down there and do my 2K swim as I normally do. The water temp's about 21, 22 degrees, so it's really pleasant from a lap swimming perspective. It's about 22 degrees outside, so it's not too warm. The thing is, the waves aren't crashing into the pool, so it's going to be a lot more pleasant than normal. So let's finish off with a positive affirmation. I'm alive, I am well, and I feel absolutely great. To my friends and family, stay connected, stay relevant, stay reasonable. And let's just understand that we all have certain gifts through our genetics, and while we're not suited to everything, there are some things that we are more suited to than others. So we need to respect the fact that we have these gifts that are made available to us. The sun's just battling to rise over there, but as we said, we're not going to get a magnificent sunrise this morning. And to take some lessons from this wonderful book, The Sports Gene by David Epstein, and to understand that our abilities are gifts, and we need to make the most of that gift through hard work, of course, and to respect the fact that we have the gifts, or we may not have the gifts. So thank you very much for joining me, and I look forward to coming to you again later on from a different location with a different message, a message of empowerment, and to help us get through the morning, get through the day. So until then, Yasas, Bilakya, ciao for now, from Jim's 5 AM club here at Bondi Beach on this overcast yet beautiful, beautiful Sydney day. Ciao for now and bye.